Right, guys, today's question is, how much can I increase my punching power in the gym? Now, where does this question come from? It's actually the reason a former client was sent to me in the first place. I'll talk about them in a minute. And more recently, it was in a forum on Facebook, a Facebook group. It was a discussion that came about there. The athlete that was sent to me, combat sports athlete, quite successful, wanted to be more successful, felt their kicking was very, very good, but there was a lack of power in the punching. So, could we improve it? Could we improve it through strength and conditioning? And yes, absolutely we can. How much can we improve punching power in the gym? Well, that's the unknown question. We don't know by how much, but I mean, we could argue even, does strength and conditioning directly improve punching power? Or, and this is my actual opinion, my bias, is that in the gym is where we build potential. So in the gym, we develop attributes. So strength, speed, power. These are attributes. Mobility is an attribute. Coordination, you could argue, is an attribute. And these are what we develop in the weight room. The punch is developed in the sport training, as is your tennis serve, as is your skateboard ollie, as is your bunny hop, as is your whatever athletic skill. Yeah, any athletic skill you care to mention. But the attributes that are required to the attributes that are required to perform that skill, many of them can be developed in the gym. So the athlete in question went on to become one of the top ranked Kyokushin karate fighters in the world, invited to all sorts of invitation only events, and voted their country's top fighter. So won many, many bouts through use of the hands. So let's say we succeeded. What we did was what we always do, well, the only thing we can do, and it's reverse engineer the problem. What we don't do is start by saying, these are the exercises that will make you hit harder, because that's nonsense. What is right for one person is wrong for another person. But if we take the problem and reverse engineer it, then we get the right answer. And I will say, at the start, when this athlete was brand new to me, and we only had a short window of time before the next event, we kind of did just throw it in. And what we looked at was, again, reverse engineering a punch. What do we need? We need speed and power from the ground up. We need strong legs, strong hips, a strong back. And we need to transfer all that extension power and funnel it down through the hands. We did things like high pulls. We did clean and jerk, one arm clean and jerk. Combat sport athletes do hundreds of push-ups anyway, so we didn't touch anything like that. We did some lower rep work, some heavier work. Did we do throws at that stage? I don't think we did throws at that stage, but that was what came later. But the whole time, especially the early part, was like, we've got 6 weeks before the next competition, let's just throw this athlete at it, see what we can get done. But while we're doing it, we take some notes and we make a little plan for the following period of training, what happens afterwards, which is where real progress came. So that first event, yes, far more powerful, much, much happier. But moving on from that is where we got into the real weeds. We got a bank of evidence. So by watching, studying, watching the videos back, getting feedback from the athlete, why do you think you're not hitting hard enough? In that last event, what do you think could have gone better, and how can we arrange your training to give you that? And this is the sort of conversation we have to have. Coaching is a conversation after all. So when we do that, we start figuring out, what does the athlete need? And it's never far away from what I've already said. So hip strength, lower body strength, to create that general power strength, that the initial force. Anything that gets the hips and legs stronger. Those squats, lunges, swings, deadlifts, cleans, high pulls, jumps, hops, all there. All there. A big fan of front squats for stand-up fighters, for kickboxers and that. But any type of squat really works. Lots of single leg works, or lunges in every sort of direction. Get the legs, get the lower body, get the hips brutally strong. Scapular control. Scapula is a big thing. I'm a big fan of scapular work. I've read quite a lot of gymnastics training information about what they call straight arm and scapular strength. I think it's fantastic, and it should be in every fighter's arsenal. A lot of kickboxers, Thai boxers, jiu-jitsu guys come to me with shoulder injuries, and as soon as we get their scapula moving, their shoulders feel much, much better. Once we develop scapular strength, so pretty much all the muscles in the upper body attached to the scapula. I think there's 19 muscles attached to each scapula, each shoulder blade. So for that, things like windmills, which obviously includes hip movement, all things bottoms up, so kettlebell, upside down, bottoms up presses, windmills, get-ups, blah, blah, blah. Hanging scap-ups, hanging from the bar with straight arms, doing shrugs. Swinging clubs, maces, rows of every single description. The precise exercise you pick, well, that depends on the individual athlete and also the equipment available. But there's a whole load of stuff there. Putting it all together, well, there's no real gym exercises that put it all together. I do believe a one-arm clean and jerk, or clean and push press, is as close as you're going to get. It's not a punch, but it links all the elements together somewhat. There's a lot of controversy about the landmine punch, which is the angled barbell standing press, but done as a punch where you literally punch it out. It has value, maybe not as much value as a lot of people think. What I prefer is to do it as a jerk, so landmine jerk, where you drop it into a split stance. Reason being, we're developing power from the lower body, pushing it through, and we're getting an explosive bang, and almost catching the weight on a straight arm, rather than it being a pressing action. Because if you think about the mechanics of a punch, it's the body comes through, almost leaving the arm behind, and the arm then whips through afterwards. Within reason, of course. There are times the handle move first, of course, but you watch the big punches, the power punches, and you'll see body and the handle fling through afterwards. There's a lovely video of, there's a couple of them. Is it Dan Henderson? The H-bomb? This big overhand that he does. He's talking about that, and he's talking about that as a body movement where your arm almost doesn't change shape. There's a video of Chuck Liddell talking about his lead hook that he used to knock people out with. And again, the arm was here and he just turned his body and the arm doesn't change relative to his own mass. And that really gets the idea that a punch is nothing to do with the arm. So, nothing to do with. That's a bit strong. Use your common sense there. Maybe it's not as much to do with the arm as a lot of people think. So, really, to put it all together, you want to be hitting the bag. Plain and simple. Hit the heavy bag. Lots and lots of heavy bag. You want to hit hard? Hit hard. Simple as that. A little tip on that, and I actually had this discussion with 2 or 3 athletes. I'll have them do maybe 10 strikes and then rest a full minute and then do another 10 strikes. And they look at me and go, surely you don't mean a minute and then a short rest? I'm like, no, I want 10 strikes and then a full minute's rest. I'm going to do several rounds of that. And they look at me like you got 2 heads, because fighters don't like resting. And they also don't see how, well, I'm not going to get tired of these just a few strikes. And yet, when we instruct them that every strike is full power, every strike we're looking to cut that bag in half, we're looking to put a hole in that bag, they start accessing the anaerobic energy system. And they start blowing. And this look of shock and surprise on their face after 7 or 8 rounds of this. And like, wow. But their power goes up because now they're able to access the fast twitch, the real power fibers. So, I mean, that's... I don't like complicated stuff. I really don't like complicated stuff. Throwing medicine balls is great. A lot of the gyms I've had, like Wild Geese, we had wooden sheeting on the wall, so we couldn't be throwing balls against the wall too hard. Even the gym I'm currently training out of, same sort of story. In here, just listen to this. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have concrete walls, breeze block walls, you're not going to be throwing medicine balls, but it's a great drill to do. Again, they've got to be light enough that you can throw them fast and powerful. The mistake so many people make with medicine ball work is they get big, heavy medicine balls. You're going to be using single digits. 10 kilos is heavy. You're going to be, 5 kilos is still a lot. 3 or 4 kilos just to make this heavier so that you can get mechanics into it. Once you start going heavy, too heavy, your mechanics change, and now you're moving differently to how you would be throwing a punch. And this is the thing. There's no lift. There's no gym exercise that actually replicates a punch or a kick or a tennis serve. We can come close, but we can't replicate it with weight. And why would we want to? We want to build attributes. The attribute of strength, the attribute of mobility, the attribute of endurance. We want to create athletic potential that they can now grow into in their sports practice. Okay? It's like getting a car and fitting bigger brakes, a different turbo. We're just increasing the attributes on that car. But still, it's the skill of the driver that makes the difference. Alrighty? Can you punch harder as a result of a gym training program? Absolutely. By how much? That's the great unknown. But yeah. Lift. Do the basics well. Increase your attributes, increase your potential, and then get out there and put it into practice. Simple, not easy. Love questions like these, and I want more questions from you guys. If you've got questions, fire them in. Do hit like so this video goes out to more people. Do subscribe for the next episode and hit the bell and all the rest of it. Come and see me on davehedges.net. Drop me an email through there if you want. Read these on the blog there. Book in for a chat if you want. And yeah, I know I haven't done one of these in a couple of weeks, but I'm not going to make any promises, but we'll be back very soon. Till then, keep punching.